Hey everyone, how's it going? It's That Nerd Ryan here, and today we're reviewing Aquaman, The Lost Kingdom. So, Happy New Year. As I've stated, I think a couple weeks ago on Christmas, that Mondays is now Superhero Mondays. It's not Marvel Mondays. Do you realize it's funny that I'm wearing a Marvel shirt and announcing this? But that's what we're going to do from now on. So, we're going to review both Marvel, DC, and third-party stuff. We're still going to do the chronological rewatch for Marvel. It's just not going to be every week. But yeah, so today we're going to be reviewing Aquaman, The Lost Kingdom. So, let's get into it. I honestly was not excited to see this movie. I mean, it being the last of the DCEU, feels like it should have been like a Justice League movie, but, you know, there's a lot of stuff going on. And also, Amber Heard being in it was kind of a touchy topic. That's why I saw it alone. A lot of my friends were very anti-her, even though she's in the movie for only 20 minutes, collectively. But when you look at that, I'll explain that later on. But yeah. And then also, first Aquaman was not that memorable, so it was kind of hard. But I did actually end up enjoying this movie. I think I've realized if I set my expectations low, I end up really enjoying a movie. There is a couple dumb things I want to say about it, but it's still an enjoyable movie. What's actually funny is the going experience was actually worse than watching the actual movie. There was a crowd of teenagers that were yelling racial slurs and threatening people in the front row as a joke, and they had to get armed security in the theater. And I also had somebody with a 6-month-old sitting in the theater. 6-month-old was crying the whole time. Had a guy that brought his son, who's very timid, to a James Wan film sitting next to me, so I had to keep hearing the kid whimper, and the dad go, "Here, I'll cover your eyes," every 15 minutes whenever a sea creature or something, or actually Black Manta would show up on screen, he would freak out. And then I had somebody playing the stupid yakety sax in the back row very, very loud. So it was a reason why I don't go to AMC unless I have a gift card, and I had a gift card. I did get to see the movie in IMAX though, so that was kind of cool. But I will say I do like how this movie doesn't really introduce anything new cast-wise that's like really big. I mean, of course, Arthur Jr. would be big. And the actual main villain being kind of big was also a good idea. Being new was a good idea, but I mean, it wasn't like anything that would, really, really hurt that this is the final movie in the DCEU. So I do want to say there are some stuff that I do gripe with on this. For example, they definitely kind of made this kind of feel like a Thor Ragnarok situation, even making Ocean Master feel like Loki to the point of calling him Loki as a joke, which also I just realized is like a very funny possible Marvel reference in a DC film, considering that Marvel has referenced DC in one of their films. But yeah, it's kind of weird that the last two DCEU movies had Marvel feels to them. So, for example, Blue Beetle really felt like an Iron Man film, or like a, I guess, Iron Heart sort of thing. And then Aquaman felt like a Thor film. The comedy was very mimicry of like Taika Waititi-ish sort of stuff. Maybe it was just Jason Momoa being Jason Momoa, but that, and then like even Patrick Wilson's Ocean Master was more jokey in this, I want to say, which made him feel like Loki. I like how we do get to see their relationship build and everything, and I thought Black Manta was a pretty good setup for the actual villain, him like kind of connecting with that villain and everything. We'll get about spoilers in a second. The only issue that I had with this was that kind of what I've had all this year with DC, but this one really showed it, is there's really no consequences going on. And we'll get what I mean by that in a minute once we get to spoilers, which I just want to rank the movie really quick, giving it an 8 out of 10. A lot better than I expected. My light's dying, so I do apologize. But yeah, so let's go ahead and get into spoilers now that it's dark. So another thing really quick, I thought this was, speaking of dark, I thought this was a very bright and colorful movie compared to most of the DCEU. I mean, besides like post-Snyder stuff, but still. So, the story goes that Aquaman is kind of living his life. He's now the king of Atlantis. He's married with a child. Black Manta is still out for revenge. He actually unleashes this city, like this monster that's in a trident, in either the North Pole or the South Pole, because they end up fighting in Antarctica at the end. Merges the staff, or this trident, he gets possessed. It causes, and he's starting to cause global change, global warming change. So he goes up and does attacks Atlantis, mortally wounds Mira, who is fine in the next scene, and then goes to this giant, crazy island. Aquaman breaks Ocean Master out. They team up to stop him, who then they basically beat Black Manta, who runs away, the third time in the movie. He runs away a lot in this. And he ends up killing Aquaman's dad, who survives, and then taking Arthur. They then go to fight in Antarctica. We get to see Ocean Master kind of become a good guy. And then they go and fight Black Manta. Ocean Master catches the trident and then gets possessed, releases the villain, who is their great ancestral uncle, and basically brotherly love breaks the curse. Aquaman kills the guy almost immediately. Story's over. Ocean Master goes to live a better life. Aquaman becomes a better king, better fathers, that sort of thing. Story over. So yeah, my big issue with this movie is that we get 2 fake out deaths in it of main characters. We get a bunch of other stuff that feels inconsequential to what's going on in the movie. This being the last DCEU movie, they could hold back no punches. They could have ended the world in this movie and it would have been fine. But the fact that they let's not kill off Mira, even though she literally had a hole in the bottom of her chin and all this other stuff, and also it's played by an actress that is very controversial and no one likes, which we'll get to another part in a second that I have a complaint about, that I had a complaint about with The Flash. And then, normal human Aquaman's dad, Boba Fett, is bleeding out dead. Okay, he's fine in the next scene. That kind of feels a little whiplashy, especially for a last movie. But yeah, those were my only complaints. And then I remember complaining in the Flash movie that we had all that controversy about Ezra Miller doing all the stuff, and then the Flash movie had a scene where Barry was kind of doing similar stuff. So the whole controversy with Amber Heard with the bed scenario with Johnny Depp, they kind of play into that where Aquaman's changing a diaper. There's a scene before where the baby peed in his mouth as he is trying to change the diaper, so he gets better reaction time, dodges the pee, and then she uses her powers to make it go into his mouth again. That kind of felt like a whole I pooped the bed in Johnny sort of thing. So yeah, that was an issue that I had, that I felt like DC kind of just brushed off all this controversy. But yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Be sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, ring that bell, and follow me on all my social media down below. It's that Nerd Ryan, signing off.